in the midterm.
Sean, Newport News, line 1. You're live with the Virginia Gang.
Good morning, John. I can't hear you guys very well. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I really agree with John Reid. I'm just 50-50 on nuking the filibuster. The time to nuke the filibuster was at the beginning of the shutdown, because then it would have been appropriate. The shutdown wouldn't have happened, and we wouldn't be able to hang SNAP benefits over the Republicans' heads. But we're losing the House. I'm sorry, John. I love you. We're losing the House, and what we could strive for is what Trump did in his first half term, in his first presidency, where we stop the bleeding, where we don't lose as many seats like we did, say, in Virginia. We make gains in the Senate. That's the best you can hope for. But to think we're going to hold the House, make gains, there's just no way. Every year I look at the Democrats just put out garbage message after garbage message during the midterms, and it works. I'm sorry, you just can't fight history. History is going to dictate whoever's in power in that White House loses the House, like 85, 90% of the time? So, yeah, you still got to fight for these seats because you don't want to lose as many seats. But I like what John said in the fact that you better, these Republicans in the House better be ready to be unemployed in a year, and they better be doing their job like they're not going to have it in a year.
You know, it's interesting. There is a mindset change. I think people go to the House of Representatives and they think they have been elected to be there to be some sort of historic figure and a noble statesman. And you must have that mindset. And I admire that. It's why I ran, because you want to play that role at your time in American history. The truth is, if you're in the House of Representatives, you are a frontline soldier in a war, and nobody gives a damn whether you come home alive or not. If you're a Republican member of the House of Representatives, you are there to cast votes to achieve an agenda. And if that means you lose in 2 years and you have to pack up your box and your political career is over, that's got to be okay with you. That's why you're there. You're not there to give a big speech because you're not going to sway anybody. It's why a couple of people said, "Oh, John, you should run for Congress." I was like, well, first of all, show me where you think I could win. But secondly, I've been an intern in the House of Representatives and a staffer in the United States Senate. Being in the House is miserable. I mean, you could take advantage of it and try to promote yourself as best you can, and you could do a good job for your constituents with good constituent service. So you can do some good work. But when it comes down to it, you better it's like a rugby scrum. You better get tight with everybody and push, because that's the only way you get anything done. And your survival is no one can worry about your survival. You
are a fundraising pawn in the battle. That's what it is.
It's too bad. I hate to say
you literally spend half your time raising money.
Yeah.
And you spend the other half bouncing back and forth around in and around and to your district and being told how you're going to vote on certain bills and certain committees, or you're not going to be on the fundraising committees. Otherwise, you're banging out $100 phone calls on science and technology trying to get reelected. It's a perverse system.
Yeah. And John, here's the thing, John Reid. I agree with everything you said, everything, with the following caveat.
Okay.
When somebody gets in there, they don't think globally or even party-wide. They think of their own interest. What do I have to do to come back in 2 years because the country needs me? And they don't think of themselves as a soldier. The other thing is, if you are independent-minded and you vote for your party like you do, and you vote what's best for the Commonwealth, you're going to have a shorter lifespan. Mm-hmm. Can you say Chap Peterson, Joe Morrissey? Mm-hmm. We've got Republicans, the same thing. John Watson, same thing. Mm-hmm. So I don't see those people out there that have been in there, just elected, falling on the sword. With that said, let me share this. How many of you have heard or know of Jacob Lane?
Not
He's a
me.
Re-
Never heard of him.
Never.
That was
Are you
quick.
being sarcastic?
No.
Okay. Jacob Lane is a Republican strategist based here in Virginia, and he recently did an op-ed piece on the dangers of one-party rule. It was a beautiful piece. I agree with him 100%. And he talked about the comparison between Illinois when it went to one-party rule and how the Republicans started competing and it just became a disaster, and the similarities to Virginia. And he made this point: if one party dominates so completely that it forgets how to govern and the other side forgets how to show up, then we're in trouble. And that's what's happening in Virginia. We have one party now that can dominate in the executive branch and both houses of the legislature. And that, instead of being a recipe for success in Virginia going forward, is just the opposite. It's a recipe for disaster. One party dominance, said Lane, not my words, but I agree with them, breeds arrogance and complacency no matter which letter is in front of the name. And that's what we're looking at in Virginia, and that frightens me.
You guys are screwed. I'm so glad I live in the safest city in America, Washington, D.C. Let's get to the predictions here about this this gerrymandering bill that's going on with the Democrats, which really could determine who's right about the House. Basically, 4 seats. Joe, before I think you were on, or Saxman, but Peterson thought before he had to go that it was not going to be instituted in 2026 because of the intervening election rule. Let's just all go around the room, make a prediction. Are we going to have these new lines in 2026? Yes or no? Joe Morrissey.
No.
Very good. John Reid.
Without a fight, yes, we're going to have those, I think.
King Saxman.
Yeah, I don't think in the end, I don't think it happens. I think they're going to back down from the mid-decade redistricting, and I don't think it's going to be as successful nationwide as well.
Let me take one step further.
Yeah.
I think the Virginia Supreme Court, which I think is composed of very good people, they've been appointed by R's and D's, will stop this train wreck like hitting a concrete wall.
You do?
I do.
Why do you think that?
Why?
Why?
Because these jurists on the Virginia Supreme Court are going to look at what the Constitution says, they're going to look at the law says, and they're going to look down at that Democratic representative who's before the Supreme Court and say, how can you justify this piece of legislation coming through the legislature given the way the state constitution reads right now and the way the law reads? That's what I think will happen.
Well, I hope you're right. I'm losing faith in that crowd quickly. And I started to lose faith, not to bring up my statue thing, which I know everybody thinks I'm the crazy person for being angry that the statues were yanked down. But when they said, "Oh, this agreement with the state doesn't really count. This particular agreement doesn't really count," I was like, "Oh, well, okay, what the hell?
Well,
what does count? Who gets to decide what counts?"
John, because we got I got 3 people. One's an independent, one's a Republican, one's a Democrat, all saying they don't think this will hold in 26. That really changes the math, because I had dinner with a group last night, very astute people, and they believe when all the lawsuits were done, including Virginia's, when all the redistricting was done, that there would be a net gain of 12 gerrymandered seats going the Republicans' way. And they got a 4-seat majority.
And this is when you look at Texas.
Well, they expect Texas.
Okay.
There's nobody, John Reid, that I talked to, and I've talked to probably 10 people. There's nobody that didn't think that the Texas thing would get overruled by SCOTUS in a New York minute. So nobody's even worried about that, especially in the White House. They just know it's going to get overturned. So they said, and the Louisiana ruling is going to take out minority majority districts. They said, end of the day, and they also thought the Virginia thing would fail. So end of the day,
The Democrat Virginia plan would fail.
the redistricting to make it 10-1, all the people I talked to last night said it would fail in 26. It was probably going to go to 28, but 26 wasn't going to get there. That gives us plus 12. We got a 4-seat majority. That's plus 16. That's what gives you a fighting chance. If you can get plus 16, you can lose the 10 seats that Joe said and still cling to a small majority. That's
Well, let's understand why this is occurring in the first place.
yeah.
The Republicans, without changing anything, will lose the House. And this is an effort to save the House. They recognize the trajectory that things are on right now for them nationally. And with the slim majority that they have right now, they would lose that in the midterms. So this is why this is occurring.
Yeah, I mean, and when Joe said last week, well, you had to admit Texas started it. They had to start it because the only way they can keep a majority is by getting ahead of the redistricting game. Joe, that's why they did it. Now,
no, Texas didn't start it. This came from Washington.
Yeah, well,
we need to find seats somewhere in the country.
But, I mean,
please start redrawing the maps.
Texas was just the first one to come to the table, but yet it came from the.
And let's be honest, if
White
Democrats were pulling this stunt, if they were in the White House and they were worried about losing the midterms and we're redrawing maps, Republicans would be losing their friggin' minds right now.
Yeah. Look, we got 5 minutes. I want to talk about right to work. There's already a bill put in to strip it. Bill is going to sail through the House, going to sail through the Senate. You're not going to find two senators. Somebody told me the other day, oh, if we can get Cray deeds, you're not going to get Cray deeds. Okay, no, it's going to pass. It's going to get to Spanberger's desk. Here's my question: is she going to repeal right to work or not? We'll start with Saxman. Yes or no?
I don't think it gets to her desk.
Really?
No.
Why?
Because I think the Democrats know they can't repeal right to work with an economy in Virginia that's on the verge of going into recession. We have a $7 billion funding gap between Medicaid, K through 12, SNAP benefits, and the tax conformity with the federal code. $7 billion. You can't make up $7 billion in a slowing economy that's going to go into recession and slam the economy into reverse by repealing right to work. I think calmer heads are going to prevail.
Where? In the Senate?
Yeah.
Wow. John Reid.
I think right to work is done in Virginia. And I think Abigail Spanberger lied during the campaign and tried to act like she wasn't committed to repealing it. I think she is committed to it. And I think it's as soon as this thing starts moving, they're going to hear, the Democrat legislators are going to hear from all of the union people who invested money in their campaigns. It's like the evangelical Christian base of the Republican Party. They are a powerful group that must be respected within the party. And I think the Democrats are going to cave to their core constituency, which is the labor unions.
Joe?
If it gets to her desk, she will sign it. Here's the way things will work out. She does not want it to come to her desk.
No.
She will be on the phone to every Democratic senator saying, I need your vote. I need your vote. Here's the point. Will any of those Democratic senators cave? I say no. They want to, but they won't cave. And I don't see a Creed Deeds or Scott Serval or, there's no, I'm not being arrogant when I say this, but there's no Pattersons or Morrisseys in there
They purged you. Yeah.
to be rational.
Yeah.
So they also looking at a election for themselves coming up in 2027. So despite Abigail Spanberger on the phone pleading, begging for a senator to vote against this, it won't happen. It will come to her desk. And when it comes to her desk, she's going to sign it. When it comes to her desk. And that's unfortunate because that's bad for Virginia. It's bad if we repeal right to work in Virginia. It's worked. It's one of the few tools that have worked so well over the last 50, 75 years, irrespective of whatever party's in there. And God, I can't remember who just said it, but those unions were all in these recent elections for the House and the money. Can you see the lobbying efforts that they're going to marshal to kill right to work? Oh my God. And they will be in they've got the House. That vote's coming through the House. Senate, who's going to stop it? Who's going to
Nobody's
stand
gonna
up
stop it.
in the
Look,
Senate?
Ghazala Hashmi, the only campaigning she did during the election. It's so funny to me to see on her Facebook page how now she's visiting colleges and universities and doing it. Oh, like I've never seen someone campaign after the election. The only thing she did during the election was sit down with 6 union bosses, which is sending the signal, I'm one of you. And the Democrat Party of Virginia is now made up of 2 groups of people. People who are stupid enough to think that unions are going to help the average worker, who sincerely believe that, compared to having the arrangement we have in Virginia now, where you actually get new jobs and you can walk out and take another job if you don't like it, don't like your current job, and people who are playing the long game with the communist movement, who say anything that helps establish unions helps knock the economy down and create a command and control arrangement in Richmond and in Washington. And the combination of the two, the stupid people who believe that the unions actually help the little worker these days, and the people who want a takeover of the economy.
All right, I got 40,
that's rough.
5 seconds. Saxman, you said it's going to get stopped in the Senate. How?
Yeah, it's an 89% issue. Virginians support the right to work statute at 89%.
So give me 2 names.
Yeah. I was just thinking that. Chris,
Marsden and Deeds on Commerce and Labor.
Wow. Saxman. Bold prediction. Marston? No way. No, he's not. No. Because he'll get primaried in 27 and get his ass kicked. He ain't going to vote no. Deeds.
Here's the thought. Here's something
doesn't care.
that you got to consider, John. Marsden is I don't think he's going to run again. He's in his early 70s. Creed Deeds has, his shelf life is about to expire, and I say that respectfully. That's a point. That's a point. If both of those individuals don't have to face a primary, then Saxman is correct. You may have some profiles encouraged with those 2 people. Serval, I like Scott. He's my lawyer. We go back a ways, but he's in a leadership position. They will crush him if he votes his conscience. I don't know what any other Democrat that's in there that's going to stand up. The new folks that are running to replace Ghazala Hashmi, they're going to get flooded with union money. They've been bought and paid for. I don't know.
The consequences of repealing that are dire.
Oh, yes.
It's bad. Oh, it's bad.
And then when the
news.
economy goes down, you have to raise taxes to backfill all the spending needs. It's a spiral, and it's what also comes in after right to work is repealed afterwards as well. It's a disaster. It's an utter
Anybody
disaster.
besides Marsden and Creed Deeds? Any D?
Well, they're going to have to look their constituents in the eye and say we can't do this and grow the economy at the same time. It's functionally impossible.
Yeah, but we're looking for names.
But that's what I got for you today. You asked. That's
Yeah, no, those are 2 good names. I'm just wondering if there's anybody else out there.
Saxman, that's why you're the king. You're King Saxman. Those are 2 good names. You can draw, right? You can draw a line to that. So Saxman, bringing the heat. Want to thank
God that they're up. They've got a little long in the tooth, because that's easier when you don't have to run in 27 to vote the right way.
All right, we got to go. Joe, thanks for being with us. John Reid.
Hey guys, can you see this? Can you see this, Saxman? Everybody, this.
Yeah, I
on
see.
my lip.
The UVA pen?
Yes.
I think you guys are going in the big dance, right? Huge win last week. You beat Duke, and I predicted that too. You beat Duke on the road. In fact, you blew them out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody
Crushed
gave
them.
up on the Cavs after the Wake Forest game, which was their worst game they played. But then they went to Duke. They were an underdog, and they kicked their ass.
They're going to spank the Hokies in the Commonwealth Cup, and then they're going to beat Georgia Tech for the ACC championship, and they get an automatic bid to the Big 12-team dance.
It's going to be fun. No
Go
doubt.
Wahoos.
Okay, go Who's. We got to roll. Thanks, panel. Thanks, Reid. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, King. We will be seeing
I
you.
want a moniker. He gets king. What the hell do I get?
Oh, he's king.
I know, but Reid and I want a moniker.
I'll
No,
think
I
of
want
it.
to approve it first. I don't. I'm not letting Fredericks make up a name for me. and
Johnny,
have to
we'll call you
wear it.
Johnny Fingers.
Johnny Reid is. I'm okay if you do the Johnny Reid thing. That's fine.
I like Johnny Reid.
I like
that's
Johnny.
fine.
Yeah,
That's fine.
my son is Johnny.
I like Johnny Reid.
Yeah.
Johnny Reid. Okay, guys, love you, but I got to go now to tomorrow, 9 a.m., 9 to 11 a.m. Don't forget Godzilla Wins, where I got winners coming out the wazoo. I'm red hot. I can't lose a hockey game. It doesn't matter what I bet. I just go and bet a hockey game. I win. It's incredible. I could just put a pin and bet a hockey team right now, and I'm like winning everything. See you tomorrow at 9 a.m.